Welcome back to another episode of the Dabbling DIYer. Today's video we're going to build this farmhouse desk for under $100. I wanted to take a quick second and thank everyone who's been watching my videos. If you like the videos, please click the like button, subscribe, and leave me some comments down below. Let's get started. So for the desk, basically the only thing I am going to be building is the base. We're going to have 3 different leg supports that we're going to build. These are going to be the farmhouse style, and we are going to paint those white. And then for the top, I was going to go and buy 2x6s, edge join them, but with the price of lumber the way it is, it was going to cost me almost $100 to buy the 2x6s that I needed for the top. So I found an alternative, and it's these 1-inch thick, 2 foot by 4 foot edge glued boards. They're already pre-glued together, so I won't have to do any of that. They were $33 a piece. I have $66 in it, so I actually saved some money, and it's going to save me some time. So let's build these legs. For the desk legs, we are going to use just regular 2x4s, untreated. We needed 6 28-inch boards and 6 20-inch boards. We went ahead and cut these on the miter saw, and now we're going to sand them down to 180 grit. And just like that, we have all of our boards sanded nice and smooth all the way down to 180 grit. Let me go get a little bit of this dust off of me. This board here, and these are our bottom boards, are actually only 20 inches wide. And then our side boards are 28 inches wide. So since these are buttoned up against this, with these being 20 inches wide, we have 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches. The width of our boxes or our base are going to be 23 inches. Since our top is 2 foot wide or 24 inches, that will leave a 1/2 inch overhang on each side of the desk so we can put a nice bevel on it. So let me get these boxes assembled, and then we will begin putting our cross braces in. To attach the frames is super simple. We're going to drill a pilot hole, we're going to countersink, and then we're going to put 2.5 inch screws in these. And since we are countersinking these, we're going to fill these later with putty before we paint. The next step was to cut our center supports for our cross members that create that X. Alright, so I've just got my boards laying in here. They've squared up nice in each corner. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have to cut one of these boards because I don't want this gap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark here and here. And I'm going to cut that chunk out of this board here. That way I can pocket hole jig this to this cross member and it looks like an X. So let me go get that cut, and then we'll get those 2 boards sanded down. We will join these together with pocket holes, and then we will see what it looks like. Once I cut that chunk out, the next thing I did was drill some pocket holes in each side of the center supports, as well as the 2 small sides that are going to join these supports together. So what I want to do is I want to raise these up 1 inch off of my table so that I can get it in the center of this board. That way it looks better. Like this. I'm going to set it on my table. That's going to raise my boards up 1 inch. Then I can go ahead and sit my boards down in here on top of that 1/2 inch piece of plywood, or actually it's a whole inch. And then when I screw it in, it will be centered. So we'll get all these laid in here exactly how we want them. little tight fit, but I wanted it to be snug. Alright, so we'll get it screwed together and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Alright, so we've got our first leg put together. Like I said, we're going to fill these pocket holes with the pocket hole dowels. This is the side we're going to see though. As you can see, I've got it centered. In my 2x4, I've got an inch gap on each side. So it looks nice, it gives it some definition or some depth. So I'm going to run over this with a sander just to get everything smoothed down again. I'm going to complete the other two frames really quick. Alright guys, so we have all three of our farmhouse frames built. We're going to stick our dowels in these now. And then we will work on getting our stringers put together. Now to fill our pocket holes, like I said, we're going to use the little Craig pocket hole dowels. I just put a little dab of glue in each hole and you put it where the angle is facing you and you just push it in the hole as far as it will go. Like that. Whoops. Now the glue, let it set up, and then I'm going to be painting this, so I'm going to sand this back and it'll paint up nice. Now that the bases are complete, the next step is to add our back stringers. This is what the top will rest on once the project is completed. Alright, so now that we have our back stringer in place, since this is going to be an L-shaped desk. Now I wanted to stop there because it is a little bit easier to explain with more light. But once we got our back stringer in, we brought our pieces inside and assembled everything inside just so we had a little bit more room and a little bit more light. Basically, we're just putting our stringers in, and these are the pieces that support the top of the desk. Now this piece from this point all the way over to this point is 6 foot. And I just used pocket holes to join the front stringer to each side of the base as well. I had pre-drilled these before I brought them in. And next we put the front stringer in on the left side of the L shape, which is right here. Alright, so right here you can see the framework we have laid out. You'll see that we have our back stringers right here and right here. And you'll see that we have our front stringer here and here. And then we did go on to add a stringer right here and right here. Here you will see me just test fitting the top boards. These are the glued up ones that I bought instead of building myself. And these are a full inch thick. They're 2 foot wide by 4 foot long. This was also before I put my center stringers in, but right now we are just test fitting. You will see that with both of these together, the desk size is 6 foot from here to here, and then it is 4 foot from here to here. Once we finished test fitting, we went ahead and started painting. We painted the bottom of the desk white, and then we started staining the top. I believe this was a Java stain. Now that we've completed all of the staining, we let this sit for a day or two and dry, and then we reassembled the top. Then we started attaching the top from the bottom in these locations. We pre-drilled and we screwed from the bottom up into the top at each of the joist locations. We spent less than $100 on this project. We had $66 in the top, and then we had to buy 5 2x4s at $5 each, so those were $25. Here you can see the finished desk in our home office, and here you can see the completed project once we moved all of our electronics into the home office. Thanks for watching another video. If you liked the video, please click subscribe, comment, and click that like button. Thanks.